Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So in this episode we're going to be pulling apart some Hornady Precision Hunter for our 6.5 Creedmoor just to see what makes it tick. We're going to see how the gunpowder amounts are in there, see if they're standard case to case. We're going to look at overall length of the cartridges, and then we're going to be weighing some bullets just to see how consistent the bullet weights are. So I just want to reiterate, we're going to be working with this mostly factory Tikka T3X. So our goal here is that we want a affordable workhorse for the field. Something you can take a field, it's not going to cost you a small fortune. So we're not chasing 1/4 inch groups here. If we get sub-minute of angle, we're going to be very happy. And just to put that in context, if you can shoot sub-minute of angle, so that's if you can shoot less than a 1 inch group at 100 yards, you're going to do very well. If you're planning on reaching out a little further with this rifle, and let's say you're shooting at a 500 yard target, if you're shooting minute of angle and wind isn't a factor, that's going to be a 5 inch group at 500 yards. So technically, if you're a 1 minute of angle shooter, you could shoot a deer in the head at 500 yards. It's a very good workhorse. If we can do that, that's what we're striving for. We're going to be happy with that. Especially if we can do that with this ammunition, because it can be bought at the store for $41 a box. You don't need to reload for it. So you can buy a very affordable gun, some very affordable ammunition, and put some meat in the freezer. So we're going to get at it, and we're going to pull some ammunition apart. So what we're going to look at first is the base to ogive measurement. And just for a review, obviously that's your base of your cartridge, and your ogive is basically the diameter of your barrel where the bullet is going to engage the lands or the rifling of your barrel. So why is this important? Every cartridge and every gun, they seem to like a certain jump or jam. So jump is when the firing pin hits the primer, ignites the gunpowder, and the bullet has to jump a little ways before it engages the rifling. Target shooters sometimes do what they call jamming the bullet, and that is where you're actually pushing the bullet into the rifling of the barrel. We don't like this for the hunting scenario for one big reason. It may shoot very well, but the problem is if you chamber around and then do not fire at an animal or do not fire it, when you go to eject it, it is quite possible that this bullet is going to stick in your barrel, and when you eject it, you're going to pull the barrel, or sorry, when you eject it, you are going to pull the case and the bullet is going to stay in your barrel. So you're going to eject it, gunpowder is going to fly everywhere, then you got an inoperable rifle in the field. So we are not going to be testing with jamming of any bullets. We always want to jump. And again, some bullets are finicky. I know the Burger VLDs are very finicky on what kind of jump they like. They may like a 10 thou jump, or they may like a 50 thou jump, but that's something that has to be tested. The one thing too, when we're talking about jumping, let's say we were only going to go with a 10 thou jump, this bullet may be seated out very far, and it may be seated out too far to fit into our magazine, so we don't want that, as we do want all of this ammunition to fit in the magazine. So if we need to make a follow-up shot on a bigger animal or anything, we can do that. So let's go ahead and test it. For this test, I have my electric caliper here. It's not very expensive. I have Hornady's ogive case comparator. So again, we're going to open it up. It is zeroed. I'm going to put the cartridge in, and it's going to sit on the ogive or the bullet. So that's where the bullet is going to engage the rifling of the barrel. Okay, so we got an overall length there of 2.174. We're going to write this down. And so we're going to pull apart 5 rounds out of our factory ammunition. Okay, 2.172. So only 2 thou difference from our first case. .175.5. .171. and 2.170 we'll call it 2.171 again. Alright, so we have a range there of, it goes from 2.171 to 2.175.5, so 4.5 thou was our range between 5 rounds of this boxed ammunition for the 6.5 Creedmoor. So next thing we're going to be doing is actually pulling this ammunition apart to find out how much gunpowder is in each case. So to use this, we're going to be using this Lyman tool, and the way it works is you put a little snap cap on the back of the cartridge, fits around the groove, goes in there, snug that on securely, so it's going to contain all the gunpowder that we're going to pull out of here when this bullet flies out. So it is a pretty violent operation. It doesn't look like a smart thing to do, but they work well. If you are reloading and you reload the wrong of anything, you have to pull your ammunition apart. This can be used, but it's quite a lengthy process. I don't like doing it. I would rather just shoot the ammo at the range if it's safe to do it. So here we go. Okay, so there we go. So you can see there, the bullet came out with all the gunpowder, the case that's left up here. So we're going to throw that in our scale now. Okay, we're going to zero that out. Make sure all of the gunpowder is out of our case. Put the gunpowder in, minus our bullet. Okay, and we're going to write this down. So 41.8 grains. Now, I was told Hornady has their own particular type of gunpowder, so we don't know if this is exactly 4350 or not, but we're just going to see what kind of tolerances they're working with here. Okay, that one's 41.6. That one's 41.3. Wow. I am actually very amazed at the difference in powder so far. So far our low is 41.3. Our high's been 41.8, so 0.5 grain difference, which is a lot in the reloading world. When we load our own ammunition, it's loaded to the 1/10 of a grain. So it's surprisingly out so far. .41.5. And that one's 41.7. So there's our powder amounts. So our low was 41.3 up to 41.8. So you can see that's 5/10 of a grain difference. So that's a fair bit in as far as consistency goes. So I think when we do reload, we're going to get probably better standard deviation and extreme spread. And when I talk about that, what I mean is our velocity round to round is going to be very consistent. When you have fluctuations in the gunpowder like this, it's going to affect your velocity. So the 41.8 is going to be faster than your 41.3. And what that's going to mean at the range is you're at longer ranges, your hits are going to string, so they're going to be up and down because some are going faster than the other. Next thing we're going to check is brass weight. So for these, this is actually going to be the weight of the brass plus whatever primer they're using here. 155.4. 155.3. 155.9. 154.3. Oh, that one's out quite a bit. 153.6. So there's our weights of the brass. So you can see they vary quite a bit. So again, this is just going to help with consistency. If you can get your brass to weigh the same amount, anything you can do in the reloading game to maintain consistency is going to increase your accuracy. So again, we're just going with a minute of angle. We're going to be happy with that. This isn't something that a competitive shooter is going to be happy with. If you want to increase your consistency, you're going to probably have to get a higher grade brass other than Hornady. So a lot of the competitive shooters like Lapua or something like that, you will get the brass weights a lot more consistent. And when I'm weighing this, what I'm thinking is if the weights are not consistent, the thickness of the jacket is not consistent. So anytime you decrease the interior area of this brass case, you're going to be increasing the pressures, which increases the velocity. So again, anything you can do to increase consistency is going to make you more accurate. So these are the bullets I pulled out of here, and as you can see, they're not going to be very consistent because, well, the first one, I definitely smashed the tip right off, but the last three are good. But we're going to set these aside and not weigh these. I'm going to weigh the ones out of the box here, out of the box ammunition. So we're just going to be weighing the bullet weights, and we'll just pick 5 of them again just to see what they range. So these are supposed to be 143 grain. So pretty close, 142.9 for this one. 142.8. 142.6. Well, actually, we're gonna, we'll call it 6. It's right on the edge there of 5 and 6. 142.6 again. And that one's actually 143 on the button. So we got a 0.4 grain variance round to round. So again, consistency is the key. For the competitive shooters, like the competitive shooters would probably weigh all these and load them accordingly. We're not going to get that picky because we're going to be happy with a minute of angle or less. Thanks for joining us, guys. So that's our dissection of the Hornady's Precision Hunter ammunition. That's 143 grain bullet chambered in a 6.5 Creedmoor. Next episode, we're going to be looking at the Barnes bullets. We're going to weigh those, and we're probably going to load some up. We'll show you how we're going to go through the testing process to see how the ammunition is going to get fine-tuned for our particular rifle. We're going to do that for this and the Hornady ammunition. Stay tuned.